Ahmad Fielder, welcome to Who Made This.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
What's your superpower?
My superpower is invisibility.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it.
So,
That was unexpected.
So, whenever I'm in a situation or if it's like an area that I don't want to be in, then like Miles Morales just tend to disappear.
Fly under the radar.
Just fly under the radar. Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. How about it pertains to your design background and like your take on design? What's your superpower in the design field?
Wow, that's a good question. In the design field, I may have to say my superpower is actually storytelling.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So I love storytelling. I just love just how you can just create a story that revolves around your consumer, and also that can revolve around color, and also just to tell meaningful and impactful stories as well, and something that can be relevant and also consequential to other people as well. So that's something that I try to strive for whenever I create something or create, something that's that involves in, a narrative or story, something that I've done in past seasons. So,
could you maybe share two experiences? Maybe one where there could have been maybe things done better, and then one that was executed just like so beautifully.
Okay. So just in general,
maybe like in your product creation process, like one that was like the full, like you could see the through line like from beginning to end, and then one maybe were kind of like there was like maybe disconnect, whether that was like in the marketing sector or something that happened where it wasn't like quite as imagined.
That's a good question. So the first one, I would say, where just everything just happened in a great way. I may have to say my first BHM project that was a part of at Armour. So it was called Narrative Threads. Cool. Basically, Narrative Threads, it was a story that revolved around quilting. So I was trying to come up with like unusual stories that we weren't really aware of in the Black community. So I wanted to make sure, okay, like how do you incorporate those type of stories through footwear and apparel? Okay. And so I did a lot of research on quilting, and I noticed how my grandmother had quilts, and I was like, that's pretty interesting. And so I just started.
It's an art form.
Absolutely, yes, it's an art form, and I noticed how, I did a lot of research in realizing that a lot of the quilts, they're passing quilts from generation to generation. And to your point, it's a lot of colors, it's a lot of patterns, and I thought it would be pretty interesting to incorporate that through like footwear, whether it's on the heel clip, whether it's on the tongue, whether it's on the footbed. So I thought that just that story came together perfectly in a way, and also just the team did a great job as well, just executing that project itself. And then the one that didn't go so well was so it was my first season at Under Armour, and it was like an ice cream story for kids.
Like for children's footwear.
Children's foot. So initially, I started as a color designer for youth. So, which is pretty cool. It was a very, very cool experience. The actually getting the lens of a child, and also just the
playful, right?
Very playful, very energetic, very colorful, essentially. So I did a cool project that revolved around ice cream. Like an ice cream truck. Like I said, like I love storytelling, so it was basically revolved around just how, as a kid, like we're all aware of just having ice cream or just running and trying to chase that ice cream truck.
It's an integral part of being a kid.
Absolutely, very much so. And so those what a lot of people tend to gravitate towards, or a lot of kids, a lot of children gravitate towards, were your strawberry shortcakes and also orange dream pop.
The dreamsicles,
the dreamsicles, exactly. So I wanted to have like a colorway that revolved around those two. So like the orange dreamsicle, that was for boys, and then the strawberry shortcake colorway, that was for girls.
Okay.
But unfortunately, they had to cut it, or they had to drop it due to budgeting. So
darn budgeting. I
know. It was so cool. Like we had, it was just a lot of interesting ways that we did. That had whether it's just like midsole treatment, ornaments, that symbolizes like sprinkles, just little cool things about it. But unfortunately, they had to cut it due to budgeting. Yeah,
man, that's unfortunate.
I know.
Really cool. Two really interesting projects. It kind of both came from like your past. Like one with like the family tradition of the quilting,
absolutely,
and then one like the nostalgia of just being a kid. Those are just like really really visceral, like a part of the human.
Absolutely,
parts of the human experience.
Yeah, because everyone could relate to that. We've all experienced just like just like running your way to that ice cream truck and just like a nice like hot summer day.
I can hear the music now.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure, very much so. So I just wanted to create something that was relatable and something that could actually people could be on board with. So, but like I said, unfortunately, they had to cut it due to budgeting though. But everyone loved it, so that's all that matters.
So with childhood, it's a good segue.
Yeah.
When did, as a youngster, did you first like get into creativity or realize that this is who I am, what I want to do with my life, and who maybe as a child encouraged that in you growing up?
Oh wow, that's a good question. A lot of people actually. Well, creativity. Well, I can start with music. Music was the first love.
You are a musician too to this day.
I am. Yeah. I am actually. Yep. So I do music on the side. But. It may have to be my grandfather, but like my step grandfather actually just inspired me to create music, just because like music was just all around me ever since I was a child. And so like just a lot of record players, whether it's just a lot of 70s and 80s like funk and soul music. And this is when I was 3-4 years old, so it's just ingrained in me ever since then. And also my mother as well, she was also like into music. She was also a singer.
Oh wow.
So yeah, just music was just it was everywhere when I was a child. And so ever since I got older, just wanted to do it myself. The rest is history. But as far as like footwear, may have to be just in the DC area. We're very familiar, or we're known for just a lot of like outdoor sneakers, like Nike boots.
Okay.
A lot of like heavy bass shoes, like foam posits. Mm-hmm. So Timberland boots, surprisingly. And so, but ever since I was younger, just always been into sneakers. Just always been into sneakers. I used to go on the website Nike Talk. I'm not sure if you're all aware of Nike Talk. It's pretty big, especially in the early mid 2000s. And also like my uncle. So my uncle, he's a huge sneakerhead. When I was a child as well, and so it was funny because it's when you see someone that's in the footwear industry and you see someone or a couple of people that that's in the footwear industry, you just have the notion that, okay, like this is possible.
Exactly.
And so ever since then, I was like, oh, okay, like I can do it too. And so I just tried to follow in that same footsteps. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but eventually I found out. And yeah, fortunately, things happened pretty quickly, honestly. But initially, I wasn't a footwear designer, or I didn't get into footwear, honestly. So
did you have like a holy grail sneaker growing up that you always wanted, or maybe got your hands on?
Oh wow, I got my hands on.
Well, maybe you're still looking for.
That's a good question, because when I was, sorry for the dead air, but but because I'm thinking now, because so I have so many pairs back home, but I want to say I'm thinking,
or even maybe like for me, I know when I watched The Sandlot, the PF Flyers, I got a pair of PF Flyers, and I was just like, for me it was just seeing him in that movie and in that big space. I was
iconic.
Like,
absolutely.
They really, even though I don't know if I got the performance enhancing abilities that they say, but
higher, run faster.
I felt like I can outrun that dog like every time,
Yeah, for sure. That's a good point. And that's actually a great point. Like that's a childhood movie that I'm really familiar with for sure. And I remember one of those when I was a child too. It may have to be the Great Fives.
Okay.
The great
Jordans.
Yep, great Air Jordan 5s. Like I wanted those when I was in high school, but just never had a chance to get them.
Yeah.
And so I'll probably have to say those.
Those the most iconic ones, like the ones that Miles Morales wears, or is that like the ones they wore? Which ones are Jordan 5s?
Jordan 5s are the ones that has like the net, like on the little part. It's it's like a translucent net.
Yeah.
And it also has like a translucent outsole as well. But it's like white, purple, and aqua. and
Yeah.
that's why they call them
Really,
the grapes.
really iconic, like '90s colorway.
Absolutely. Will Smith wore
Fresh
them.
Prince?
Yep, exactly. Will Smith wore them
Yeah.
in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
So I may have to say those,
Yeah,
but I
okay.
just never had the opportunity to get a pair.
So that's the ones that has like the kind of the cutaway and the collar, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because they made like a, I'm gonna probably butcher this, but Paris Saint Germain, PSG for short, but they're for a like a Paris like colorway, Paris Saint Germain, and they were like really iconic too that I've seen because they were like a basketball tournament that Jordan sponsored. It's like I've always wanted those, but they're also, you know, if you see them on StockX, they're like $1,000.
Oh wow! Interesting.
Or Concords, like the Concords.
Yes. Yeah. Well, fortunately, I had those back in high school, so I was fortunate to get those. But
did you ever like get extra pairs and put them on ice?
I did a couple of times actually.
I have shoes that I wish I would have done that, like in school, like some of the old SBs.
Oh yeah.
They don't make them anymore. Like they brought back the Janoskis, but they're just kind of like trickling them out, and I'm like, they're gonna discontinue them. And
yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a couple of pairs that I have on ice and never wore them. But you know what? I have a different mindset now, and it's wear your kicks.
Yeah,
like wear your shoes. When I was younger, I didn't have that mindset. I was just it has to be in the perfect condition. It has to be in mint condition. Now it's just it's materials. It's meant to be worn, so you just don't want it to crumble.
Yeah, has your time in the industry kind of helped shape your idea of like use them, don't hoard them?
Exactly. Yep. Use them, don't hoard them. Sustainability. I think these days I'm more minimal now.
Okay.
So I'm trying to just get into the more minimalism mentality too. And also, I mean, like I said, I had like 200, 300 pairs back home in DC. So it's like now it's like, no, I want to save money as much as possible.
Yeah.
Like I want to make sure that I tend to give away sneakers now.
Okay.
Like I tend to just, use my discount, for good, my employee discount for good now. So
great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah. Well, that might be my superpower.
Is it Jaylen Brown from the Celtics? Jaylen Brown, I think.
Yeah.
Started a YouTube channel, and like his first episode was like they went to a sneaker closet, which was like a room this big.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got 50 pairs of those. They sent me 50 pair of those, and like nobody got these, and and it's just kind of like, okay, it's like I'll get around. He's like stepping over shoes trying to get to a pair. He's like, you haven't seen these. I'm like, after you like walk by 20 pairs of the same shoe, and like, that's fun, but also, and he's like, yeah, I just kind of wear these shoes every day. Like picks up one pair, I forgot what they were. It's like I don't have time to wear all the other shoes. It's like people that have tons of cars. Well, you can only drive one car at a time. And
one thing I have to say, because there's only 365 days in a year. So it's like if you have 300, 400 pairs, most likely you probably won't wear them every day. And so when I had that mindset, I was like, I think that things kind of changed from just my perspective as far as with wearing kicks. But I'm sorry.
Oh no. To your point about sustainability, and also working in the corporate kind of industry, because it seems like so consumer driven. It's like sometimes it's like they're making products just to make more products because they need to sell more. Like, how has that kind of shaped your view as a designer, seeing the consumerist side of the industry, as opposed from being a collector when you were like younger?
For sure, it changed drastically just because you realize how much there's a long process when it comes to creating sneakers and just creating footwear and also apparel. And when you notice or you learn more about the process, you kind of have more empathy as far as just how the whole creation is made. And also there's just so many people that make the sneakers itself.
Right, that come together.
Exactly. Well, I mean, as far as just like, there's factories, there's just a lot of things that come into play. And so like when you just have a waste of materials, then that's just a waste of labor essentially. And so once when I just have that knowledge more, I think just my mindset or just my mentality changed drastically ever since then. And so that's why it's like you just have so many just samples, and sometimes it could just be a waste. I mean, that's just how footwear goes, like, especially just as a color designer. It's just, when you create, tons and tons of colorways, sometimes they drop, sometimes they don't. But the ones that drop, sometimes it can be a waste of materials. And so, when I had that knowledge or that mindset, it's like, oh, wow, like there's just so many things that come into play with that.
In your career, you've been footwear designer for your whole career?
No, so that's a good question. So I actually started in the apparel world.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was a color design assist for men's sportswear at Nike.
Here in Beaverton.
Yep, in Beaverton.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So I started as a color design assist for men's sportswear initially, and that was around December 28th. So that's when I got my foot in the door. Eventually, I transitioned into equipment, so like balls, bags.
That's kind of cool. Wow, that's an interesting sector.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. It was pretty cool just because you get to learn about that consumer. Right. Which is pretty interesting, especially just with balls like football or soccer, which was just a world I wasn't familiar with initially, but it was cool to work on different cool projects like so I was involved in the 2020 Nigerian national team for the Olympics at that time, and so I colored like their balls and bags, which is pretty cool. Like that was a cool experience.
That's really awesome.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, for sure. So like I want to say that was actually like a really positive experience for me, and also the people there were really cool, really nice, really knowledgeable. Like they actually taught me a lot of things, especially just working at Nike. Nike's very enormous. It's very big.
It's a city.
Absolutely. Yeah, very much
small
so.
City.
It's a small city. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. The campus is very big, very enormous. But the people there in that category, they taught me just how to navigate, at Nike in and of itself. So. Yeah.
Like corporate landscape,
absolutely.
That.
Yeah, corporate, how to play the game.
Do you have any advice you'd give to somebody who's starting out on the game, how to play it? Do you learn
patience.
That's a good one.
Patience is key, and something that I tell myself a lot is give yourself grace.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give yourself grace because you're bound to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Like you can be your own hardest critic, so it's like
Absolutely. Don't be so hard on yourself. Because we're bound to make mistakes. That's just a part of the process. But that's just how you grow, and that's how you evolve as a designer. But those are like the two main things that I probably have to give, or advice I have to give to like an up and coming designer or color designer. So
kind of to the point of like giving grace and giving yourself the leeway. Like I think we all as designers get burnout and stuff eventually, and sometimes if we have the ice cream colorway stuff where you like put so much energy into it and then it doesn't go anywhere,
exactly,
that can be disheartening. Like what do you do to go and kind of re-energize, build a cup back up so you can go back and create again with a positive attitude? Yeah,
that's a good question. Well, it all it all reverts back to music. So like that's like for me, music is very therapeutic and it's very cathartic for me. Whenever it's just it's inevitable, when you're in the footwear industry, you're going to have those long days. So I think that for me, just music, it's definitely something that I gravitate towards, especially during the weekends.
What is the process of making music like for you?
The process of making music for me, it's Logic Pro. So are you familiar with Logic Pro, that software?
Making beats or playing?
Yeah, making beats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Making beats.
Logic Pro.
So I may have to say just like using that software Logic Pro, and then also like using like the keys as well. I'm not classically trained or anything, but it's just play it by ear. And also just creating sounds and textures that I wasn't familiar with, that I'm not familiar with. And also just like listening to music as well, like listening to music, just playing basketball, shooting around, like listening to different podcasts and music. And I want to say like those are like different days where I can just take my mind off of footwear for the time being, and then just go back and just have like a fresh perspective.
Music, basketball, sneakers, like such an ingrained.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Growing up, like to me, like following basketball, like they were synonymous with each other. It's like cool music, you go play ball, and it's almost like certain players. Yeah, exactly. Like certain players, like there's almost a musicality how they play basketball.
True. Yeah.
You can hear the beat just by watching them kind of move, and
it's all intertwined.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Who's some of your big like musical inspirations?
Wow, that's a very good question. It's so many.
maybe people you're digging on right now, like people you're in your rotation right now.
That's in my rotation.
Yeah.
Well, I can answer both.
Okay.
Well, as far as like who influenced me with creating music, there's a lot, but it's the Neptunes. Are you all familiar with the Neptunes? Pharrell, Chad Hugo, like that dynamic duo.
Is that before NERD, Nerd? No one really dies, or is that?
It's around the same time.
Okay.
So NERD So they're actually the same people.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay, isn't it?
yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
that's
Yes,
awesome.
exactly. They're childhood friends. Yeah, it was just pretty interesting. Like they had really cool, like a really cool background, just from Virginia Beach.
Okay.
Virginia. But yeah, like they're definitely influenced, or I was influenced by just their sounds and just how they're ahead of his time or ahead of their time, especially in the early 2000s. And so yeah, like the Neptunes, like I said before earlier, a lot of like 70s, 80s, like funk and soul, like Prince, Earth, Wind and Fire,
Yep.
Marvin Gaye.
Any Barry White?
Yeah, I like Barry White. I like Barry White. Yeah, I love Barry White.
That was my dad's jam.
Yeah. Barry White's pretty cool. Yeah, I love Barry White too. Yeah, just the Pointer Sisters. I'm not sure if you all are familiar.
Yeah,
with
them.
them. Yeah, like Pointer Sisters are pretty cool, or like they're, I mean, legends. But yeah, there's just so many.
What about like get into like jazz, like old jazz kind of stuff?
Yeah, Miles Davis, John Coltrane.
Like, kind of hear some of that influence in your stuff. In
Appreciate it. Yep. Definitely Miles Davis for sure, but definitely John Coltrane.
Yeah.
Like especially during like my high school, freshman, college days, like I listened to a lot of like jazz, especially this John Coltrane for sure.
Yeah. Jay Dilla.
What's that?
Jay Dilla, is that?
Yeah, Jay Dilla.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of his stuff, and it's kind of like blended everything. Like he sampled just about everything and found a way to create a cool flow. And then a lot of rappers have like done stuff over him. And it's just like, it reminds me of just like driving through New York.
Absolutely.
Or that kind of East Coast just grooving.
If you're a producer, then Jay Dilla, you know that Jay Dilla's the beat king for sure. And to your point, like Jay Dilla he was the guy. Like he was the guy that everyone wanted to be like, essentially, and everyone wanted to emulate. But yeah, them. And then my last one is Stereolab. So I'm not sure if you all are familiar with Stereolab. They're like this alternative French new wave rock band from like the early to mid 90s, but very inspired by them too. And I definitely have to give them a shout out as well, just because like they're really into like a lot of interesting textures and sounds and like these 9-10 minute tracks, which is pretty cool. But I definitely recommend like you all listen to them. It's really good music just to study and work and get some work done too as well.
Do you listen to music on records, or are you more digital yourself?
More digital.
Okay.
Yeah, for the time being. I wouldn't mind getting into vinyl at some point.
Yeah. It reminded me because when you said about France, I don't know if they're still around, but there was like a YouTube channel for Radio France. And they would invite artists to come in, and they had like a huge catalog of records, almost like the Criterion Collection has for movies, but it was like all records. And they would sit down, and I think they call it like crate digging or something, and they'd be like going through, finding records and throwing them on the player, and just, it was kind of a way for artists to like showcase what they loved. And it's like all the records you could ever think of in one room.
Oh, wow.
And there was like this French lady who just hosted, and like I couldn't understand half what they were saying, but it was just like cool to watch these artists just like totally nerding out on records that they're like, oh, I haven't listened to this in years, and this is what I listened to as a kid.
And what is this called?
Radio France.
Radio France. Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely have to check that out.
This was like a decade ago when I saw it, so I don't know if it's still around. But
okay. Yeah, definitely have to check that out for sure.
Sort of like KMHD now, where they do like jazz Portland. They're based out of like Mount Hood Community College, 89.1, dude. And they play like music from all over the world. I love it.
Oh, for sure.
It's really good station.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm sorry. And then your question was, who am I listening to?
Yeah, like right now, like who's in your rotation? Yeah.
There's so many.
And is it also like instrumental, or like also like lyricists as well too, like with lyrics?
It's both actually. So I love instrumental music, but I also love music with vocals too. Man, I'm trying to think right now, because there's so many artists or really good artists that's out there. If I look on my Spotify quickly,
absolutely,
yeah.
I mean, I'm literally the same way. Like I listen to so many different artists. I'm like, I have to check my like my now what do they call it? Like
the Wrapped.
Yeah,
like Spotify Wrapped.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. Let's see.
Sometimes Spotify Wrapped, the same songs like end up year after year, because like some are just keep going back to.
I know. Yeah, like the rap, the Spotify Wrapped is just shows you that you just you have like a lot of like. Well, I know for me, like I listen to a lot of music, so like once when you have the Spotify Wrapped and you realize like you had like 50,000 minutes or 50,000 worth of music that you listen to, was just like, wow, okay.
Are you constantly listening when you're like at work doing
Yeah,
design stuff.
exactly. Yeah, like listening, like while I'm working, or like I said, like listening while I'm just shooting around,
Yeah.
things of that nature.
Does the music you're listening to ever influence like the colors you pick for designs and stuff?
Surprisingly, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's called synesthesia.
Oh, I've heard that. I didn't know that was
Yeah, like
that.
seeing sounds or seeing colors. When you listen to music, you see colors essentially.
Yeah.
And so I actually created a project that revolved around synesthesia. And so, yeah, to your point, whenever I listen to like a different note or a distinctive note, sometimes I think of like different hues or shades of blue. Like think of like different shades of red. So yeah, that's actually a really good point. Yeah, it's called synesthesia. Yep. But that's something that I noticed about myself. That, to your point, whenever I listen to music, I think of colors too. Yeah. So it's all like synonymous in a way. Yeah.
It's cool how you bring up like textures too as well, because I can definitely see that, like bringing other parts of the human experience into the listening experience. Really interesting how you bring that up. That's
for sure.
That's cool.
But Butcher Brown.
Brown?
Yeah, Butcher Brown. They actually just created a project, or they came out with a project about a month ago, not too long ago. I saw them live out here in Portland. So they're like a jazz band. Pretty cool. So I highly recommend. Absolutely.
Is there any existing artist that is like a dream collab for you that if you could produce for them or do beats or whatnot for?
Yeah, there's so many. I wouldn't mind collaborating with this producer named Monty Booker. So Monty Booker, he's based out of Chicago, or he's from Chicago. I think he's based out of LA. But okay. I mean, he creates just like a lot of. He's actually like a sound designer too. Like he has like these interesting
soundscapes and things.
Like he uses this hardware called so like that's pretty much how he creates his music. But like I would love to collaborate with him. Monty Booker and also Kate Trinata. I'm not sure if you all know
Kate Trinata.
Okay.
Yeah, Kate Trinata is pretty dope. Pretty dope producer, pretty dope artist. That's someone that I would love to collaborate with at some point if I had the opportunity.
We'll put it out into the universe now.
Exactly. Put it out in the universe. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But yeah, those are the two for sure.
Touching back into like your earlier years, did you do all your schooling in DC where you kind of grew up? Or?
Yeah. So I did all my schooling in DC, and then I actually went to college in George Mason University, and they're located in Fairfax, Virginia. So it's about 30 minutes away from DC. And I actually studied bioengineering, which is completely different from what I'm doing now.
What kinds of things were you like? What kind of projects were you like? Or is it mostly research projects, or what kind of
research? And also just creating like artificial hearts.
Whoa.
Like for like animals like pigs and
that's
things of that
rad.
nature.
It totally worked.
It did.
It's successful.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. So I was involved in different projects like that, but a lot of like peer reviews and things of that nature too.
So how do you go from that to being a footwear color designer? That's like it's like a different universe.
That's a good question. So just found out that it wasn't meant for me, and I just didn't want to do it for a living. I've always been into footwear, but I just didn't know how, if that makes any sense. And so I came across Pensole, Pensole Footwear Academy, and at the time they were still located in Portland, Oregon. They're still located in Chinatown, in downtown Portland, and I found out that they had an intensive program that had color materials course there. And it was like a 3-month course. This was around 2017. And something just told me, or just my intuition was like, just go ahead and apply and see what happens. And also I had encouragement, with my uncle, who's also in the footwear industry too. And so, they needed a 2-minute video, a color mood board, and a scholarship interview or a scholarship like a video.
So you didn't have to do like the design competitions?
No.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, thankfully I didn't.
Those are kind of not cutthroat, but you're just like really stacking against the odds, trying to like get through everybody one of those spots.
Yeah, I know. It was definitely competitive to get there for sure. Yeah, I mean, just through the universe and through just like I said, my connections. Thankfully, I got accepted there, and I think the rest is history for sure. That's how like the whole color design aspect of my career. That's how it all happen essentially.
So when you start to look at the design process as a whole, and like certain jobs, like my job, like it kind of touches in like all the aspects. But when you start to break them out into like color, materials, developing, and then like tech packing, how many of those, as the colorist, how many of those are you interconnecting with everybody,
Yes.
or certain people that are more like your best friends, and then the other people are like kind of like middleman, they talk for you? Or how does that kind of like share the intermingling between all those?
Yeah, for sure. So just as a color designer, just from a color designer perspective, so basically, yeah, so it's like a triad essentially. Okay. So like you're essentially talking to a lot of counterparts, and you're trying to make sure that everything executes, especially as a color designer. And for me, that's definitely crucial as a color designer, just making sure that I'm in communication with everyone. So whether it's just the developer, whether it's the footwear designer, right. PLM, make sure that I have the right information in order to get the job done, essentially. Okay. So, yeah, as a color designer, you want to meet up with the PLM just to find, okay, what's the brief?
Right, and that's the product line manager.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. No.
Yeah. That's a good.
Who maybe aren't as
and they're getting like the color trend reports and stuff from marketing and all that.
Yes, they're getting the color trend report from marketing. They're studying who the consumer is, what the consumer is, how they're evolving, and just through that's how they get their data and their research. They create the color brief as well. And so when I just have those conversations with them as much as possible, and then also like the developer as well. So that's when they talk to the factory, and they're in communications with the factory, and just making sure that everything is feasible, everything is achievable, material-wise, color-wise. Can this material take this certain color, whether it's neons?
Right, that's a pretty high possibility.
Absolutely.
Going across like the different material landscapes.
Yes.
So neons would be like a hard area to...
It depends. It depends. So like, let's say sometimes you can't really do a fluorescent neon on a midsole, for various reasons. And so sometimes you just have to, revert, and you have to revise certain things, and you have to use your expertise on, okay, well, let's see if there's an alternative for a certain color, or like a neon color, things of that nature. So it's I think communication is key for sure as a color designer. Right. Like you're kind of like Switzerland in a way. Like you're kind of like Switzerland. Like you want to be in communication with everyone, and you want to be cordial as well.
Is the whole team brought in from the start of the project? Everyone's brought in from the very start, or are there certain parts of certain members of the team in the design process that get brought in later because maybe their part isn't as necessary in the very beginning?
For the most part, I think everyone, they're involved in from the beginning. Maybe there's some connections with apparel. So apparel, like their timeline is slightly different than ours. And so like apparel's probably like later down the road during the process or during the season. But for the most part, it's like far as like your triad, like everyone's on board from the beginning, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because neither one of us have really been on like big design teams and like pretty much lone wolves, I guess you could say.
No worries.
So peeling back the curtain for us as well. Too. It's kind of interesting.
Especially as a freelancer, you're like your own little echo chamber.
Yeah, for sure.
Go meet with the client, and then go back in your echo chamber. You're like, hello.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally understand. I mean, I was definitely in your shoes at one point, and you're just trying to like peek behind the curtains and see what's going on, or just how the sausage is made.
Yeah.
And so
is that where it's kind of nice to go back to like your music studio and not have the echo chamber or not have all the voices, the committee. You can just do your own input and then go back, and it's a good balance.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's actually a really good point. You just get to just be creative on your own and just do things your own way, and you don't necessarily have to have too many people in the process. And so I think that's the cool part. To your point, that's the cool part of, as far as just creating music, is that you just, hey, I mean, if there's if there's a particular sound that I want to do, then I can just do it, and I don't have to worry about the middleman, essentially. So I think that's definitely the interesting part of, as far as just being a musician, and also just being a visual artist, is just that you get to do things on your own terms, essentially.
Have you done a lot of traveling for your job, or do you like do you visit factories or like trips for inspiration?
I would love to at some point. I definitely would love to visit the factories and see how everything's made. Man, that's something that's on my radar.
What about like inspiration trips?
Oh yeah, a lot of inspiration trips, like New York, I've been to New York. I actually went to Vancouver a couple of months ago.
Oh, BC.
Yeah,
Beautiful city, huh?
Yes,
I could totally see myself living there because it's so
same
much like
here.
the Pacific Northwest.
Yes,
right?
I know. Same here.
Beautiful
yeah,
city. Yeah.
Absolutely. If there's a city that I would love to live in Canada, it'll probably be Vancouver for sure.
Mm.
Like Vancouver is definitely like a really just nice, very calm, very serene place.
Yeah. I didn't get to do any hiking while I was out there, but everyone kept telling me like it's so easy to reach it, and the transit was with the SkyTrain.
Yeah.
So pretty.
Yeah.
I wish we had something like that here that was as good, but
I know.
it's just, I don't know why they can't get the transit sorted out here.
I know.
Figure out one day.
exactly. But to your point, a lot of inspiration trips for sure, like New York, Vancouver. To be honest, like I take my own inspiration trips too.
Yeah.
Like if we're not able to go to a particular city, like sometimes I just go on my own, just like on my own leisure. Sometimes I'll go to, even international trips. Sometimes like I'll go to like Tokyo, or I'll go to Barcelona, or
Whoa.
sometimes I'll go to London. Like sometimes I'll go to.
What's the city that's most inspired you out of those travels?
That's a great question. Tokyo for sure.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, Tokyo.
Yeah. There's so many layers to it too.
So many layers. Yeah, Tokyo, man. There's just so many things that you just learn from just one city, which is pretty cool. And there's just it's amazing how like they're just living in the future too.
Really?
Like they're just so far ahead than us.
Using like robotics and things like that,
robotics and also just their way of living. Like they're just so far ahead than just how they live compared to.
But then also from design perspective, I've noticed, I haven't been there myself, but like being a design student of design, like I've noticed there's this whole aspect of like Japanese design that like looks to like Americana, like vintage stuff here in America, and then they like find the secret sauce to what made American design great, and then they reinvent it in like 10 times better. Exactly. So they also live in the past, but they bring it into the present in like a way that nobody here would have ever thought of.
Very much so.
They're like companies like Neighborhood Japan, where like, it's like old American iron surf, workwear, but it's done to the best possible level luxury. You would never get here, and it's like how they just reinvent it is amazing.
For sure. And they're students of the game too. Mm-hmm. Like they're students of the game. They study it. Like they're very intricate. Like they really take it seriously. They do it with care. They do it with love.
Like craftsmanship. It's like true
craftsmanship. True craftsmanship. Like they don't really do it for money. They just they're actually literally students of the game essentially.
Man,
so
that sounds so pure.
Absolutely,
it's like the purest form of making. It's just like just because you love it and you just enjoy the process of just making it happen.
Yeah, and it's a breath of fresh air. Because just just living in America, it's just all consumerism. So it's cool just to be with people that actually truly love design, and they love what they actually studied. Even with not even just with design, but just music too. Like they're jazz heads. Like, they always go back to your point. Like they always go back 50 years, 60 years, and like they truly love it essentially. So I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, but Japan is pretty dope place.
That's always been on my checklist too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Japan. There's actually I would love to go to like Africa too. Like I'd love to go to certain countries in Africa as well at some point. Yeah,
just the topography. You get everything from the Sahara to like. There's this one document.
Kilimanjaro. Yeah, for sure.
This one documentary called The Crimson Wing was made by Disney a few years ago, but it was about the flamingos that go to Lake Natron in I think Tanzania. Don't quote me, but it's like they come every year to migrate and like transform what was like just a dead arid place into like the rain falls and it goes from like dry lake bed to this brimming with flamingos and water and salt and the colors you can make paintings just off of the topography of that one part in Africa, and then the birds flying everywhere and like like it's just you go there and you can get so many ideas for shoe designs or apparel or patterns, textiles, like
right. Yeah, I have to check that out for sure.
Yeah. And the music is great too. It's the Cinematic Orchestra did the score. Okay. And it's pretty much all instrumental, and it's one of those things I found out about in school and like would have it on replay. Yeah. Just because it's such a great score and swelling music and just quiet moments, and then thinking back to the colors and all the patterns from that documentary, the flamingos and everything, and the salt lake, and it was just like create forever just from that.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, interesting. You were talking about like just sometimes taking trips yourself. A friend of mine who's like he was an art teacher, and I was just kind of a semi-retired fine artist. Basically gets to play every day. Leo Sheeran, he told me once that you have to take yourself on art dates.
Yes.
He's like, you will get burned out if you don't, sometimes it's like, hey, I'm going to go to a museum, we're going to go to this event or something, and just take yourself on a date as a designer, as an artist.
Exactly.
Go by yourself. Don't take somebody. Go there so you can just be with the event or the art or whatever you're interacting with, and just kind of have that moment where you get recharged and get inspired. And
absolutely,
it's so important.
Yes, and that's a great point. Like I think I've noticed so many benefits to just solo traveling as a designer, and you get to have those little solo date trips. You get to just immerse yourself in what you're experiencing and what you're seeing.
Yeah,
It's,
sort of get lost too,
you
and
get
then find
lost.
yourself again.
Yeah.
And
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I just found like so many just inspirational like paintings and like artwork, and just tried like I try to make sure, okay, like how do I incorporate those things, through my own work. So yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah.
Should we hit up with one of our funner like sort of random style questions that we have? We try and we try and break up the business and pleasure of the podcast, and try and do a not all heavy focus, but some of the funner stuff too,
Looking forward to it.
You mentioned you studied bioengineering and all that, but like, if you weren't doing that, you weren't doing music and art, like, what do you think you'd be doing? Like, if you could try on a different life, like, if there's this concept of, like, I read a quote once where it's like the person was saying, I wish I could try on different lives, like I try on different jackets.
Yeah.
Every day, just try something different. Like, what else would you like to go do if you had the chance to just, like, pause this? And
it probably all goes back to traveling. I'll probably just be just a solo traveler. Just probably experience or try to just travel and go to as many destinations and as many countries and cities as much as possible. Yeah, get to experience it as much as possible. So that's probably what I probably would do. It's just go to different countries and things of that nature. Yeah,
it's such an important part of the human experience. When I meet people who are like, I don't travel, I'm like, you grew up in Portland, you've never been anywhere outside the state? I'm like, it just kind of blows my mind.
Oh, for sure.
Like, some of my family, like, they settled in Santa Barbara, California, like Southern California, and they just take vacations like maybe an hour north. I'm like, what are you doing? Get out, go have some fun. It's my place. Go see. This world is beautiful.
Absolutely.
The people you meet are just incredible.
Very much so.
It's my favorite part about it too.
And also you get to just expand your horizons too. This traveling and also just meeting new people and experiencing different cultures is pretty cool. It's something that I love to do. So
I think it helps like soften you as a human being, because you start to build these like hard edges.
Absolutely.
It's detrimental to what we are as humans, and you don't travel to places that you can experience different cultures and experience different ways of life. And
also, whenever I travel, I just notice about myself, you don't take life too seriously. So you don't take life too seriously, and then you notice just how, this too shall pass. Especially just when you travel, when you solo travel. Sometimes things don't go your way. Sometimes you're going to experience, challenging moments, and that's something that I've taken on, just life in general, just from solo.
Do you have like traveling. A funny story of like a travel that kind of went sideways, and you're like, how am I going to get out of this? Like,
oh man, I was in Italy in November.
Okay.
For the first time, I was in Paris, and then I took the train to Italy, to Milan.
Okay.
And it was taking that train was it was an experience, to say the least. Just from trying to navigate certain areas where they don't speak English, and so you have different signs where they don't have English, or it's just everything is in whether it's just in French or Italian. And so like I had to make sure that hopefully this person speaks English. And so like just on my way to Milan, it was definitely an interesting experience. Like the Italian police or the Italian military was there, and like they're trying to search for someone.
You're like, not me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not me. Yeah, it definitely wasn't me. So like I had to make sure I had my ticket and my passport. Like it was a very interesting experience for sure. But thankfully I got to Milan safe. So safely.
Yeah.
Right. So
which one would you pick to live in, Italy or France, if you could?
Ooh, man, it's tough. because I have I have friends that's from Italy and France, so I can't answer that question.
They're next door.
They're next door, exactly. I love them both. That's all I say. I love them both.
Are you much of a foodie? Because like I'm sure going to both those places is like quite the exploration as far as being if you're a foodie.
Yeah. Well, I'm not quite a foodie. I love to experience or love to try out new foods that I've never tried before. But to be honest, I'm not really a foodie. Yeah. But I'm willing to try like new food stuff.
Did you try escargot?
I have. Yeah, I tried escargot. It's okay. It's okay. Not sure if I'll try or not sure if I'll eat it on a day-to-day basis. But it's cool. Yeah, it was an experience to say the least.
One thing that I've always heard about those places in Europe is like there's a different pace of life.
Yes.
You know, we're here, it's just like get up at 7, be at work at 8, do 80 hours of work in one day, and if you don't, you're damned. Like we're there, it's just kind of like, hey, things will take care of itself.
Take care of itself.
Today is today.
Exactly. They live in the moment.
Yeah.
They live in the present for sure. Yeah.
Do you keep like I know some people that travel and they keep like travel journals where they sketch and like watercolor. Do you like keep like a visual journal of your travels?
Yeah, well, more so pictures.
Okay.
So like that's essentially my journal.
Okay.
Like I love to take pictures, like wherever I am. So I think, and also like I like to look back from past destinations and like, oh, okay, like I've been there. Or sometimes I like to visit friends like all over the place, all over different countries, and it's cool just to see those memories and things of that nature. So that's essentially like my digital visual journal for me.
Kind of taking a hard left. Do you have a mentor that you've sort of picked up in your time as in your like professional career that you sort of like have been kind of working with consistently, or do you have anybody in your life that's like kind of helping you kind of bounce off of as far as like their experience and whatnot?
For sure. Well, I had a lot of mentors just getting into the footwear industry. I have to say my uncle.
Yeah,
like you know, mentioned him a couple of times.
He's
today.
at Nike, right?
Yes. Okay. So he works at Nike. He works in kids right now. So like he's in the kids category, but like he's been people where like I definitely look up to, and sometimes like I bounce off like different ideas and experiences and
catching advice.
Advice.
What do you think? Like,
exactly.
Should I jump ship right now?
For sure. I mean, that's true because I mean he's been in the footwear industry for about 15 years.
Oh wow.
So he's worked at Nike for about 15 years. So like he definitely has a breadth of knowledge. But like he's been a mentor of mine on Pensole days, so like Dwayne Edwards. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Suzette Henry. So like she was an instructor for me with color materials. Yeah, so like Suzette Henry, like man, she just gave me the blueprint of just how to be a color designer, whether it's just ideation, whether it's just, you know, creating a mood board, how do you relate to your consumer, essentially. Materials, you know, just getting into materials and things of that nature. Like she was definitely like the person that gave me like the knowledge and the blueprint of just how to get into the footwear industry, and also gave me the connections as well to like color design too.
Better pack.
Absolutely, yes.
Nice.
That's a good way of looking at it.
I think it's all about finding the right person to sort of like connect the puzzle pieces for you. Because I've had a couple of different mentors. Like it wasn't until I found like the right them that like put it in this perspective, and or maybe I had to arrive at a certain point in my career to maybe understand it the right way. But yeah, once I was like, oh wow, I've totally been looking at this the wrong way.
Exactly.
It's now. They always like that aha moment, you know.
Exactly. Yep. The aha moment. Yeah. That's true. That's very true. Yep.
What do you think? What's your take on living in Portland? Like you in love here? You think you want to live somewhere else, or?
For the time being, I'll just stay here. I'll probably stay here. But to be honest, wherever the opportunity takes me. But I love Portland. Portland's cool. I think for me, I've realized that I don't want to put DC on Portland, so I love to embrace Portland as it is, or for what it is. And so I tried to have that mindset ever since I arrived here in 2018. And this is on me. Like I've never been to Mount Hood, and I would love to go to Mount Hood at some point.
Yeah.
So
it's okay. I've never been either.
Oh really?
Been to the coast a billion times. I think my parents drove halfway up to Mount Hood, and then they turned around because like the weather was crap, and they're like, "No." I was like a kid. I'm like, "We're right there." They're like, "No." So
I know.
It's okay.
I know. Yeah, because I was just also always like tunnel vision and like.
You've been out to the gorge.
Have I been?
Yeah.
Well, I
Redwood
haven't.
River.
No.
It
That's
is.
the place
It
I wanna
is.
check.
There are parts of the gorge you go out and you can realize why people came out here in like the 1800s. And you're
Oh,
like,
wow.
wow. It's
Okay.
still wild. Like there are parts that you go out in the waterfalls and you get away from the traffic and the people.
Yeah.
And you're just like, it feels wild and ancient. You know,
Right.
some of these rocks, they could tell stories. And everything.
Triassic almost.
Yeah, yeah.
Untouched.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah. Okay, yeah. Definitely have to look into that. The Washington Park, and been to the Rose Garden.
Yeah.
But I mean, those are like the staples
Yeah,
of Portland.
yeah.
But yeah, I would love to go to Mount Hood. Never been to Tillamook. Never
Okay.
been
The
to-
forest is really good. There's a good mushroom hunting out there. I do with
Really?
my buddy, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it's the 26th to the 6th, I think is what it is
Yeah.
out there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, lots of good stuff. But I completely understand. I haven't done a ton of traveling either too because I've been like more career focused. You know, like more
Exactly.
so like focused on my craft and things. So that's totally understandable as
Exactly.
well too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you sometimes you just get into the zone and you're just career focused and you're career oriented, and sometimes you just don't have the opportunity or the time to even branch out and do other things at times. No, just me. Yeah, just single for the time being.
Okay,
Yeah. So
alright.
yeah, that's. I mean, maybe in the foreseeable future, but just letting things happen naturally.
That's the
yeah,
best way to go about it,
exactly.
yeah.
Letting things happen organically. So yeah, but right now just more so career based or career focused. So yeah.
Is there any like ideas or brands you want to build for yourself one day?
Career brands. Well, I
Yeah.
actually have one. So I have. So right now I'm building just like a visual art brand called Infrared Krypto Arts. So that's INFR. ARED and then crypto KRYPTO art. So basically it's meaning visual arts and music.
Okay.
And I love to create like abstract art that revolves around my music essentially.
Whoa,
And so
okay.
it all goes back to sing sounds.
Yeah.
and
Is it like
syn-
animated
synesthesia.
visuals and stuff?
Exactly, yeah. Animated visuals, like moving like motion artwork essentially.
Okay.
So
Do you use because eventually always these days comes around to this question. Do you use AI in any of that?
no, I don't.
Okay,
Mm-mm,
that's good.
I don't use
I mean,
AI.
it's good to hear that you're making
Yeah.
it all from your scratch
All
because
from
it's so
scratch.
easy today. People just like throw something in the
I
algorithm and be
know.
like, feed it to me, and
Yeah, there's no fun in that though.
yeah, it's good to hear from
Yeah.
somebody who's like, nah.
No, I try to stay away from that. Like,
Okay.
yeah, because it's funny. So I use this app called Glitch Art. That's like the most, like that's like probably something that I'll do at best. But I use the other AI, Illustrator.
The original.
So the original Illustrator. So I use AI first, and then sometimes I use Photoshop, and then like I moved it to this app called Glitch Art, and then that's
Okay.
essentially how I create the motion artwork essentially, and then I incorporate that with my music to tell a story and a narrative.
I forget. There's some his name is escaping me right now, but he's heavy in like the animated like kung fu scene.
Okay.
And like he does like Afro Samurai. He was super inspired by that, and he made his own like samurai chef. But he does all the visual and the audio for it.
Really?
Like creates the soundtrack and everything. And so it's sort of I forgot it.
Interesting. Okay, I think I know what you're talking about.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that sort of story? Not necessarily like an anime style, but more so like moving soundscape, sort of like amorphous, sort of like ambiguous kind of things. Kind of come in.
Ambiguous, abstract.
Yeah, okay.
Ambiguous, abstract.
Party.
Yeah. Hey man.
Have you done any DJ, like actual DJ
I
stuff for
have.
parties?
Yeah, well, not at parties, but like events, like
Okay.
not necessarily events. Well, technically events. So I did something for like OMSI.
Okay.
So
Nice.
so I had like a DJ set at OMSI. It was for this event called a Beat Happening.
Okay.
So like a Beat Happening is pretty big in Portland, and it's cool because they give other producers and DJ shine, and you
Nice.
know, get to showcase your music and display your music. So it's like a cool area and a cool.
It's kind of like the boiler room. You've seen that
To a
like
certain
online.
extent, yeah,
I love the boiler room
absolutely.
stuff.
I
It's
do
just like
too.
a party, and you get to just bring your set, and everybody's just like they're there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is somewhat is very similar
Yeah.
to the boiler room for sure. So I've done that a couple of times for sure. Yeah, but it's cool. Like it's a great experience just to showcase your music and also just get like live reactions from the people that you're playing music for. So yeah, it's always a cool experience.
Dang, yeah, sort of like a more instantaneous design than like what we do as far as like the making. It's a little bit like more of a slow burn. You got, like an
Exactly.
instant stimulus back on it and like feedback on it.
Yeah, feedback and also you're telling a story too. You're telling a story through music. It's through like a 30-minute set. So
Yeah.
like you're telling a narrative. So yeah.
Is there any like a movie soundtracks that you sort of just like have sort of like held on to that really mean like a lot to you, that just really just, if you were to take that part out of the movie, it's like such an integral that it completely change the whole landscape? Is there anything like that?
Absolutely. Yeah. Are you familiar with this movie called Punch Drunk Love?
Punch Drunk Love?
With,
heard of it. I don't
Adam
think I've ever
Sandler.
seen it. I'm sure I've heard about it. I haven't watched too many Adam Sandler movies.
This is a very different Adam Sandler movie. This is like Paul Thomas Anderson. So it's a very quirky movie. I really like it. Like, it's very quirky. But John Bryan, he's a producer. He did a lot of music for Fiona Apple. But he scored the movie, and it's a very, very like, he has like a lot of just like emotional, like interesting textures that he played with like on that soundtrack. And like I always like to gravitate towards that soundtrack, just for inspiration. Like I highly recommend Punch Drunk Love for sure. And then Amelie, like Amelie's like a French, it's like the
French movie, right?
Yeah. Like that's a really cool soundtrack too. Yeah.
I used to listen to a lot of soundtrack stuff when I was in school. It was a good way to like listen to music, but there was no vocals, so I could just kind of like
for sure
focus on creating. But like, and then sometimes the movie, like I'd end up watching the movie because I like the soundtrack, and then that would, especially kind of doing more like fashion-based curriculum. Like there was more room for storytelling. It wasn't like you weren't solving athletes' problems. You were just more like tell a story, and so you could go get ideas from movies and stuff.
Yes.
And you know,
for sure. Yeah, that's a really good point. And you get a lot of inspiration from a lot of soundtracks. And then also like, especially like in the 90s, it's funny because like it was cool around that time, like in the 90s. Hip hop artists were involved in soundtracks too. It was and you get to like discover a lot of like artists that way at that time, which is not really the case anymore, which is interesting. Like I was inspired by that as well, especially just as a child. Like especially for me, like 90s hip hop was everywhere. So like it was cool. Like at that time, like the soundtrack was definitely just the essence of hip hop music at that time. So yeah.
Dang.
What do you think of hip hop music today? Any favorite artists, or are you kind of like not into today's kind of?
There's some cool artists. They're more so indie, like independent.
Okay.
They're not really mainstream.
Yeah.
Like Odyssey. Odyssey. You like Odyssey?
Oh my god, dude, yep.
Yeah. He's from Maryland.
No kidding. Okay.
Yeah, so he's from outside of DC.
Yeah, just the way that he lays out like a whole story. I'm along for the ride. You know?
Same. Yeah. That's pretty cool that you're into Odyssey. But yeah. Like Odyssey, man, pretty cool rapper. Smino, are you familiar with Smino?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Smino's pretty cool. Him and Monty Booker actually, like they're like really. They're like duos, or like they always work together. But I mean, obviously Kendrick Lamar of Kendrick.
Drake's favorite.
Right, for sure. Very much so. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, there's just so many like just independent like hip hop artists that I'm really into. Like Fonte from Little Brother. Like I love him. So yeah.
Little Brother's like a collective? Or is that just like a group, like an artist?
They're a group. Okay. So they're a group based out of North Carolina. So Raleigh, North Carolina. So yeah, pretty big in the like hip hop 90s, or not 90s, but hip hop independent scene essentially. So
okay. Dang, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how we feeling?
Good.
Feels good. Okay.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna say if you could impart one question on our next guest. We don't know who it's gonna be. We don't know what they're gonna do. Could be a business question. Could be a fun question. If that's something you're into, if you want to ask it now or later, or just before we leave, that'd be a great little part to like to carry one episode to the next. You know?
Sure. Yeah. Right now or. I guess my question is what is your process of creating whatever you do? Okay. So like what is your process, or is this like what are your steps into creating like whatever you do essentially? Yeah. So like I really love just whether it's just going on YouTube and just like how things are made basically, but whether it's just music, whether it's just art, but just anything, like I just love just the process of just creating things. So that's my question.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I guess I'd follow up that back to you is there's a guy named Simon Sinek who's built the whole thing on why.
Okay.
You know, not the how and the process, but the why, which I'm always fascinated in. So why do you create, and how would you say maybe that's changed since you started being a professional creative to now? Like your why, gets you up in the morning to like, I'm going to create this, but
yeah, that's a good question, or a great question actually. Is I don't want to lament the fact that I didn't do it. So I don't want to. So when I get older, I don't want to say, man, I wish I could have did this, or I wish I could have did that.
That's powerful.
So
yeah.
So if there's anything that I want to do, I try to execute it as much as possible, because I don't want to lament the fact that I didn't do it as I get older, or when I get older. And also, like, you know, we're only here. We're not here for very long, and so you want to make sure that your time is spent in a much more meaningful way, essentially. So that's something that I try. I mean, every single day I have that in my head. Like, I don't want to just, you know, regret that I didn't do this. So,
like, sometimes I'll get ideas and like, I'll remember to sketch that out, and sometimes like, oh crap, I forgot what I was gonna like. Do you like keep like something on you? You're like, oh, write it down
for
quick.
sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, whether it's music or visuals.
Absolutely, yes. It's definitely pivotal for me. It's just writing things, like writing down my goals,
prompts
and exactly, like writing things. Like each year, like beginning of the year, like I have like a list of things that I want to accomplish.
Okay.
And if I don't accomplish it, then I can just like overlap it and just try to, you know, accomplish it the next year. But I try to have a list of things that I want to accomplish, like each and every day, essentially. So
it's really good long vision to have. Like in this like digital, like everything now, we have such short vision, it seems. So that's a really good thing.
Yeah, everything's instant.
It's more like a marathon than a sprint.
Absolutely. You have to be in it for the long haul. I've told myself since 2018, ever since I arrived here, you have to be in it for the long haul. Because you're gonna have your trials and tribulations, but that's a part. That's for the course. Like that's a part of the journey, essentially. And so when I have that mindset, like you get to do things at a much more positive way, essentially. So, and you don't, and I think it's something that you said moments ago, you don't beat yourself up if you make a mistake, because that's how you learn, that's how you grow, that's how you evolve. So
it's interesting you all say about the kind of, you don't want to regret something. There's also this concept I've heard, it's maybe a little woo-woo, but the idea is that, you know, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, will plant creative ideas in your head. And it's almost like, there's not like a stopwatch, but at some point, if you don't execute on the idea, you don't bring it to life, then it's going to be like, all right, we're going to push this to somebody else.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're given those ideas and it's like you have to.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you just know, like, I have to create this thing, don't know where it's going to go. But if I don't, one day you're going to wake up and it's going to be on the news and be like, oh, crap, somebody did the thing that I was going to do. And I, for whatever reason, didn't take the time or follow through. I was like, I'll get around to it. It's like, you got to get around to it now.
That's real. That's
give
real.
Birth to the idea and put it out in the world. And
yeah, for sure. Because when you have a vision in mind, or like an epiphany, like just go for it. Like to your point, it's there for a reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, like
just when this iron's hot, they say, but like when the moment's like most fresh, you have the most inspiration. That's when you're like,
exactly.
I completely agree.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like I said, there's going to be challenging moments, but I mean, if the universe puts you in a situation, then I mean, I'm sure you can handle it. Like, so, just try to have that mindset as much as possible.
Do you like read a lot, or do anything that kind of gets you inspired?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Anything on your like nightstand that you're reading right now that we should read, or in the past year that you've read?
Yeah, well, I tend to read a lot of self-help books, or self-improvement books, honestly. And sometimes I always like go back to like certain books that I've read in the past. Like sometimes I read like The Slight Edge. Like The Slight Edge is pretty cool. The Big Elite is actually a book that I've been reading by Gay Hendricks. And it just talks about just like when you reach a certain level, you want to maintain staying grounded in a way, and you don't want to self-sabotage. And you don't want to have that imposter syndrome. Yeah. So, which is definitely key for a lot of designers and a lot of artists, is that we tend to have imposter syndrome at times. So it's like,
explain that more. What do you like? How does that happen for you? The imposter, or does it creep up?
Sometimes it creeps up at times, and sometimes it's just I have to tell myself, hey, like you're here for a reason. Basically, like they hired you for a reason. Yeah, especially just when you're at a job for the first time, and you know, just like your first month or your first week, and you want to make a good impression or great impression, and sometimes it's like you're there for a reason, or you're capable of getting the job done. So at times, you know, that imposter syndrome creeps in, but you have to remind yourself that they hired you there for a reason, or they know that you're capable or you're competent of getting the job done.
And kind of look back on how far you've come to victories.
Absolutely. Yes. Yep. Yes, that's a great point. And you have to look back at the things that you accomplished, or you've come a long way.
I don't know about you guys, but I know as a creative person, I can be my own worst enemy and critic. And it's like, sometimes you just look at all the things that fail, but then you forget, like, hey, I've had these victories and these things that have, and even the failures are victories once you kind of switch ends on the lessons that they taught you. And,
for sure.
You know.
Yeah, they're life lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. That's a good point.
So where can people find your music and your art? Where are you online?
Yeah, so people can find my music on just all streaming platforms, whether it's just Spotify, iTunes Music, or Apple Music rather, a title, but it's Infrared Krypto, so INFRARED, and then Krypto, KRYPTO. Okay. So this is basically like soul-based, jazz-based instrumentals. Nice. Like I've actually collaborated with some jazz artists, which is pretty cool, which are Portland-based as well.
Mixing up the community. It's so hard to be.
Have you done live shows with them?
No, I would love to.
Yeah,
I would love to at some point. Yeah, cool. That's definitely one of a goal of mine for sure. Yeah.
Do you have any of the visual stuff on YouTube, like we were talking about, where you put in visuals to music?
Yep. So you go on YouTube as well, so you can see like some of my visual arts. Where
we'll put the links.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. So you can go there and just hopefully you all have a good time listening to it, and just exploring just the visual art. So
very cool.
Oh yeah. Thanks, y'all. Thanks for being part of this episode.
Yeah, thank you very much. This has been Who Made It, and Ahmad Fielder. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.